No one was ready for Rashford's reaction. But before we get to that, we need to talk about Lamine Yamal. According to Marca, Barcelona and the Spanish national team are once again clashing over the management of Lamine Yamal. Despite Barca's frustration, Luis de la Fuente announced Spain's squad for the games against Georgia and Bulgaria, which includes 5 Barca players: Lamine Yamal, Pedri, Dani Olmo, Ferran Torres, and Pau Cubarsí. Barcelona wasn't happy with Yamal's call-up since he only recently returned from injury after the last international break. Eric Garcia, despite strong performances, was left out again. Alejandro Balde wasn't selected either as he had just come back from injury, while Fermin Lopez and Gerard Martin also missed out. The tension dates back to the last international break when Yamal played against Turkey with lower back pain and was even given a Voltaren injection by Spain's medical staff after taking a knock against Bulgaria. That incident led Hansi Flick to publicly criticize the way the player was handled. In response, De La Fuente brushed off the remarks, claiming he didn't even remember what the Barca coach had said. Barcelona complained about how Yamal was used, but De La Fuente still played him in both international matches, adding more friction between club and country. Fully recovered, the teenager is vital for Flick at Barca, but is also seen as indispensable for Spain. Now, according to journalist Jose Alvarez Haya of El Chiringuito TV, Yamal finished Barca's match against PSG with muscle overload and was almost limping at the final whistle. Even so, Spain still decided to call him up for the upcoming World Cup qualifiers. Barca lost 2-1 to PSG, but the spotlight was on Yamal's full 90-minute return, though he came out sore. At just 18, he's already dealing with physical overload, worsened by the injury he picked up with Spain. Flick had been carefully managing his minutes to avoid setbacks, but Spain continues to consider him a key piece for their immediate plans. When asked about Flick's words and Yamal's previous call-up, De La Fuente responded, "I was in my hometown enjoying an award. It wasn't the right time. There's no conflict with Flick. I was just surprised by his comments because he's been a coach himself, so I assumed he'd understand, but it's no big deal. I'll say it again. He's a coach. He knows how things work. That's what surprised me, that an ex-coach would say that. But that's all." Honestly, do you know we have 2 very important games ahead? Flick's comments are secondary. I want to focus on what matters. Everyone has said something, but it's nothing serious. I always tell the truth. Have you ever played football? Have you ever played without some discomfort? It's normal. He didn't feel anything before or after the game. I never played or coached without some discomfort. What does that mean? That nothing happened. Did he feel it after the game? Okay, that's it. No mistakes and 0 risk. If they come here, it's because they're fit to play, period. Ironically, both for Barca and De La Fuente, Yamal will not travel with Spain for the matches against Georgia and Bulgaria during the next international break because there's bad news. Barcelona has confirmed that he is once again dealing with pubic discomfort, the same injury that sidelined him back in September. He's expected to be out for 2-3 weeks and is already ruled out of the Sevilla match. According to Mundo Deportivo, the club's plan is to have him fully fit in time for the first El Clásico of the season at the end of the month against Real Madrid. His participation against Girona, Octa 18, and Olympiacos, Octa 21, is uncertain, but Barca is working to make sure he's ready for the Clásico on October 26, a game considered a top priority in his recovery. De La Fuente also spoke about the Ballon d'Or. Asked whether he plans to talk with Yamal, he said, "This isn't unusual, it's normal. If a club tells us a player has a problem, he goes home, no problem. But I insist, he played 90 minutes against PSG, and we'll see how Sevilla goes first and then evaluate the situation. I'd love for a Spanish player to win the Ballon d'Or. We deserved it in the past. Xavi, Iniesta, Raúl. I would have given it to a Spaniard, and I'm sure it'll happen. But Dembélé deserved it too." Finally, addressing Barca fans' concerns, I'll say this. Even President Laporta said he's happy about Barca players coming to the national team because it means things are being done right. And if they're called up, it only increases their value. Hansi Flick's Barcelona has had a solid start to the season, with the only real setback being the loss to PSG in the Champions League. After a shaky beginning in La Liga, the team has found its rhythm, and several players have seen their market value rise. The players whose value went up: Fermin Lopez, from €50 million to €60 million. Ferran Torres, from €40 million to €50 million, even taking the starting spot from Lewandowski. Eric Garcia, from €18 million to €25 million. Rooney Bardghji, from €7.5 million to €10 million. Mark Bernal, from €5 million to €10 million. And those who dropped: Ter Stegen, down €4 million, injury. Gavi, down €20 million, injury. Rashford, from €50 million to €40 million, value adjustment. Lewandowski, from €12 million to €10 million. The Flick era has boosted the stock of young players and reserves, while veterans and injured players have taken a hit. Marc Bernal's call-up to Spain's U21 squad caused some tension. Coach David Gordo included him despite the fact Bernal just returned from a serious ACL injury and has only played 21 minutes since September. Barcelona were upset, worried the call-up could slow down his recovery. Gordo defended the decision, saying Bernal is important, needs minutes, and helps strengthen the U21 side. While every player dreams of representing their country, when there's a recent injury history, caution should come first. That's why Barca doesn't want to see recovering players risked with Spain. Do you think the club is right? Marcus Rashford wasted no time challenging himself at Barcelona. His reaction surprised the team in a good way, as it came with a bold promise. According to Mundo Deportivo, the English forward aims to be directly involved in 30 to 40 goals this season. That's right in his first year at the club, Rashford wants to impress the world with goals and assists. It's ambitious, but early signs suggest it's realistic. Since arriving in the summer, Rashford has already been involved in 25% of Barcelona's goals in La Liga and the Champions League. Out of the team's 24 goals so far, he's contributed 2 goals, 4 assists. That ties him with Ferran Torres, another key player in Barca's attack. Individually, Rashford has already reached about 15% of his season goal. Rashford's influence under Flick keeps growing. Even in the loss to PSG, he led the team in shots, dribbles, and recoveries, while assisting Ferran Torres' goal. From his first big impact against Valencia to scoring in the Champions League and setting up Rafinha, Dani Olmo, Araujo and Koundé, he's delivered crucial points. His fit into Flick's system has given him 4 assists this season and a vital role in the project. More than just numbers, Rashford is emerging as the X-factor who could push Barca closer to silverware. According to The Telegraph, Barcelona is happy with Rashford and hasn't ruled out making his move permanent this summer. Deco praised his impact. He's here on a simple loan, no penalties, and if we want him, we have the option to buy. What we expected him to bring, he's bringing. The option to buy is around €27 million. While the club won't decide immediately, they're pleased with his performances. Rashford himself is also happy in Barcelona and hopes his ambitious targets will convince the Catalans to keep him long-term. The club is already looking ahead to the summer 2026 transfer window, when Robert Lewandowski's contract will expire. Their plan is to bring in a big-name striker, with Atletico Madrid's Julian Alvarez at the top of the list. Fabrizio Romano confirmed that Barcelona really admire the Argentine, but reminded that Atletico have no plans to sell and would demand a huge fee. Alvarez, for his part, said he's focused on his current club and not worried about the rumours. "I'm very calm. People always talk, but the truth is, the season is just starting. My focus is on improving every day and winning with Atletico. That's the only thing on my mind. Social media stories are beyond my understanding." According to Mundo Deportivo, Hansi Flick has left the left-back spot at Barcelona wide open, praising both Alejandro Balde and Gerard Martin. Martin has made the most of his chances when Balde's been out, impressing especially with his defensive solidity, like against PSG. At 23, he's steadily earning Flick's trust and even being considered as an option at centre-back if needed. With Balde regaining form and Martin on the rise, the competition is seen as healthy for the squad and a way to push both players to raise their level. The humiliation Lamine handed to Nuno Mendes came at a heavy price. Mendes pushed himself too far and will now be out for 2 to 3 weeks. Let's talk about this injury in the comments, and don't forget to check out the video on your screen to see how Lamine destroyed Nuno Mendes.